A species reckless enough to microwave their own boots clearly could not be conquered. That line had floated through the halls of the Galactic Academy for years, a cryptic proverb born from humanity's military exchange program. To most alien cadets it sounded absurd, some mistranslated joke. But for the unlucky recruits of War Game Delta 47, the meaning was about to become alarmingly real. The simulated arena mimicked a collapsing frontier outpost. Each species deployed its carefully refined doctrines. The Seor specialized in flawless hover formations, slicing enemy lines with surgical precision. The Verlex relied on brute firepower, erecting energy barriers that obliterated attackers. The Atheri, translucent mollusk-like tacticians, played the long game, draining opponents through unshakable patience. And then came the humans, embodied by Cadet Marcus Delane, who had barely stayed awake during the briefing. When the instructors laid out the rules, 2 hours to capture the command tower, one key objective, Marcus simply smiled and asked, "Will there be snack breaks?" Everyone assumed he was joking. He wasn't. The war game began. Alien squads advanced in flawless lines, tactical discipline on display. Marcus, however, ordered his team to pile up every expendable item they had. Rations, spare uniforms, abandoned gear, even stolen cafeteria trays. His squad complied, exchanging doubtful looks. They had learned his nonsense often turned into miracles. The aliens believed the match was theirs. Smoothly, they pushed forward through dusty streets, until they stumbled across the humans' bizarre fortress of trays, boots, and ration packs lashed together with belts. It looked childish, laughable. The Verlex commander's frill shook with laughter. Then the heap detonated, not with fire but with signal distortion. Marcus had rewired the junk into decoys, flooding the simulation sensors. On the enemy's map, phantom battalions of humans suddenly materialized. Confused formations froze. Marcus just leaned back, snacking on a ration bar. "Never waste trash," he declared. The Atheri tried to counter, releasing probes to analyze the anomaly. Marcus escalated, ordering his squad to sacrifice something dearer: their boots. He had them shoved into the environmental control units, flooding the sim with thick plumes of synthetic smoke and the vile stench of scorched rubber. Sensors choked. Alien cadets coughed and stumbled. Instructors in the control room exchanged bewildered stares. Nothing in the manuals covered weaponized footwear. The COR commander rallied his hover units through the haze. Marcus only shrugged. Time for Operation Lunchbox. His squad hurled ration packs overheated to bursting, which erupted like tiny grenades, showering stew and simulated shrapnel across enemy lines. The aliens reeled, scattered, regrouped, then tried diplomacy. They offered a truce. Marcus answered by theatrically diving onto one of his own decoy mines. His avatar dissolved in simulated ash. Every alien froze. A glitch. Why sacrifice yourself? Moments later, Marcus respawned, barefoot, reloaded, surging back into battle. The exploit was perfectly legal, though no one had dared use it. Now he fought fresh while the aliens dragged on with dwindling resources. The Atheri's attrition strategy collapsed. Their commander slumped, muttering, "This is pure chaos." Marcus laughed, stew-stained, barefoot, leading his squad in marching chants while they banged cafeteria spoons like drums. The battlefield turned into a parade. The aliens faltered again. When the smoke cleared, the command tower flew a banner painted on a cafeteria tray. Victory served hot. Marcus stood proudly, instructors speechless. "Questions?" He grinned ear to ear. An Atheri tentacle rose weakly. "Why?" Marcus inhaled, then answered. "Because battles aren't won by playing safe. They're won by confusing the enemy so badly they forget what winning means. If you won't microwave your boots, are you truly committed?" The lecture hall erupted. Some cadets claimed humans disgraced the spirit of wargames. Others whispered they had glimpsed something terrifying. Humans didn't just play to win. They redefined victory itself. And Marcus wasn't finished. Another idea was already brewing: stranger than the last. The instructors demanded a rematch, desperate to prove it was a fluke. Marcus only smiled, wiggling his bare toes on the simulated floor. "Next time," he said, leaning against a wall, "I know exactly what to sacrifice. We're bringing laundry detergent." The alien cadet blinked at Marcus, unsure whether this was another incomprehensible human joke or an actual threat. The instructors had ordered a rematch, resetting the battlefield to a dense urban sprawl of towers, alleys, and choke points. The idea was simple: eliminate the chaos Marcus had unleashed in the first round. This time the rules were tighter: limited supplies, no resupply points, and penalties for reckless self-destruction. Surely, the staff thought, this would curb humanity's tendency to turn war games into slapstick theater. They were wrong. The match began with expected discipline. The Verlex fortified a plaza behind thick energy barricades. The Korath glided their hovercraft into commanding high-ground positions. The Atheri slithered into the sewer systems, laying patient ambushes. Meanwhile, Marcus ordered his squad to haul every loose object in sight: broken props, damaged furniture, discarded drone shells, even holographic billboards flickering with fake ads. His instructions were simple. First, drag everything to one intersection. Second, trust him no matter how absurd it seemed. The aliens advanced with confidence, convinced the city terrain and restrictions gave them the upper hand. Then, from afar they spotted the humans' position. Marcus had barricaded the intersection with billboard panels turned sideways, blasting neon advertisements for synthetic noodles. The slogans looped endlessly: "Slurp the future," "Taste hyperfast flavor." The flashing mess became a wall of pulsating chaos. Alien targeting sensors locked, then crashed into glitchy feedback loops. The Verlex commander bellowed and ordered direct fire. The glowing wall collapsed. Beneath it, surprise number 2. Hundreds of empty ration containers, laid out like elaborate domino chains. The collapse set them off, spilling sparks, simulation dust, and flashing false alerts that jammed visual systems. Alien squads staggered, their vision flooded. Marcus calmly stepped forward. Operation Domino Dinner is live. The Korath surged with hovercraft. Marcus responded by stripping his squad of their armor plates, flattening them into crude ramps. Then came the abandoned drone casings, rolled down like bowling balls. The heavy shells clanged against hovercraft, knocking them sideways. In the control room, instructors groaned. No one had ever written rules for drone bowling. The Atheri struck next, emerging from the sewers to surround the humans. Marcus countered with laundry. Socks, shirts, and towels were hurled into the drains, clogging the simulation's damp tunnels until backup fluid flooded their passages. The mollusk-like aliens screeched as their careful ambush drowned in soggy cloth. By now, the instructors tried to abort the match, muttering about corrupted integrity. But Marcus wasn't done. He unveiled his last move: detergent. He had poured it into the simulation's fountain systems. With the drains blocked, the plaza filled with foamy water, soon overflowing into a surreal ocean of bubbles. Towers poked out like islands. Alien cadets flailed helplessly. Sensors blinded, weapons shorting out in soap. Marcus's squad charged barefoot through the froth, laughing and diving into bubbles like children. The Verlex watched their barricades dissolve. Korath hovercraft spun helplessly on slick streets. Atheri warriors slipped and tumbled, dripping in foam. Marcus reached the objective tower unopposed, planting another cafeteria tray banner, this one labeled Victory, extra fresh. Instructors buried their faces in their hands. Once more, Marcus had dismantled a carefully controlled scenario with clownish chaos that still counted as a flawless victory. But the alien cadets weren't laughing. They realized with a creeping dread: if humans could turn socks, bubbles, and trash into devastating tactics, what would they do with real weapons, real cities, and actual stakes? Ancient doctrines honed over centuries suddenly felt fragile. Whispers spread of humanity as the species that defeats logic. Marcus, however, was unsatisfied. He waved his team over, grinning in the foam-coated plaza. This was good. But round 3 will be harder. They'll strip away every loophole. No props, no junk, no tricks. Just us. His squad fell quiet. They had learned by now, when Marcus said sacrifice. It wasn't a metaphor. One cadet muttered nervously, "What do we give up this time?" Marcus smiled, rubbing his sore bare feet against the slick pavement. "They think they've seen everything," he said. "They haven't even seen the start." Dripping, demoralized alien cadets dragged themselves from the bubbles, glaring at Marcus like he was some unpredictable force of nature. They demanded one last match. A final round. No loopholes, no bubbles, no microwaved boots. Just soldier against soldier. The instructors agreed, resetting the simulation into its starkest form yet. A barren open plain, 2 hills, and a single flag between them. Marcus flexed his hands, his eyes shining with anticipation. Restrictions didn't frighten him. They fueled him. If humanity excelled at one thing, it was turning sacrifice into victory. And in this last round, he intended to prove it. They've banned tricks. They've banned props. They've banned loopholes, Marcus said as the simulation flickered into place. Perfect. Now they'll see what humans can really do. The alien cadets gathered, tense. This time there would be no cafeteria trays. No detergent bubbles. No microwaved boots. The rules had been stripped bare. Each squad carried only standard-issue gear, equally matched. Victory would hinge on pure tactics and endurance. The instructors were certain. This time, the chaos of the humans would be contained. Marcus gathered his squad into a huddle. Here's the plan. We don't win with firepower. We don't win with precision. We win by giving up what no one else would dare surrender. His teammates exchanged uneasy glances. But they had followed him through foam, fire, stew grenades, and insanity before, and trust had carried them to victory twice already. The match began. The Verlex surged forward with barricades, efficient and bold. The Korath swept overhead in hover maneuvers, raining training blasts. The Atheri spread out, laying patient traps around the field. The humans advanced slowly, Marcus at the front, calm and deliberate. He gave no order to fire, no order to dodge. Only to keep walking, even as simulated blasts rained around them. Alien commanders frowned. Why weren't the humans fighting back? Why weren't they even resisting? Then realization struck too late. Marcus wasn't guarding his squadmates' lives. He was spending them. Each time a cadet was struck down and blinked out of the match, Marcus didn't flinch. He encouraged it. "Sacrifice isn't losing," he shouted across the plain. "Sacrifice reshapes the field." And so it did. Every fallen avatar left behind a temporary distortion zone, a 30-second byproduct of the simulation's reset mechanics. Normally, the zones were trivial annoyances. But Marcus had guided his squadmates to fall in perfect patterns, dotting the battlefield with overlapping interference fields. Suddenly, the plane's center became a storm of broken targeting, scrambled sensors, and glitching visuals. The Korath hovercraft smashed into each other midair. The Verlex barricades fired wildly, blasts missing entire hills. The Atheri slithered blindly into their own teammates. Patience turned to chaos. Marcus was the last human standing. Barefoot again, he sprinted across the madness, laughing as stray blasts whizzed harmlessly past. Every distortion zone became a gift from his fallen comrades, shielding him in a patchwork of invisible cover. He darted from glitch to glitch, the battlefield exploding in futile fire around him. Then, with a final dive beneath shimmering interference, he seized the flag. The simulation froze. Victory, humans. Alien cadets stared in stunned silence. They had unleashed everything: strength, numbers, precision, patience. And Marcus had defeated them not with force, not with gadgets, not even with tricks, but with the one resource no one else dared spend: his own team. Humanity had turned loss itself into a weapon. As the battlefield dissolved into the debriefing hall, Marcus stood draped in the flag, his squad reappearing one by one, restored from elimination. They laughed, cheering at the insanity. Marcus raised his hand for quiet. War isn't about what you protect, he said. It's about what you're willing to give up to win. If you can turn your losses into weapons, then no enemy can ever truly beat you. That's what it means to be human. The instructors were speechless. The aliens had no rebuttal. What began as absurd antics had ended as something far deeper. A terrifying creativity that thrived under restriction, treated sacrifice as fuel, and shattered every doctrine polished for centuries. Marcus dropped the flag at the instructor's feet, grinning. So, best 2 out of 3. The silence that followed was louder than any refusal. Across the academy, a proverb spread, whispered with awe and unease. A species willing to microwave their own boots could not be defeated. But more than that, a species willing to sacrifice themselves with a smile must forever be reckoned with.